bug spray. You want to put it on the hands and rub it into your throat.
Want to wear a jumpsuit in the first place?
Obviously, you want to if you're wearing it.
No, I would like to not be naked in public. I don't see what secondary degrees going
That can be just as easily explained with like concurrent desires. Like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, it's more important, you pursue that.
I mean, I see the point, I think, at least.
Yeah.
But also, what about passive sensations that I'm obligated to do?
Okay. Like you're sleepwalking. If it's something you didn't want to do, you can argue you're not really doing it. I mean, that's just your subconscious brain.
Everything's based on wishing or wanting to do something.
Yeah.
But at some point, I think you just have to concede that it's turtles all the way down if you go that way.
We're not always deliberate. We still have like evidence that our decision making is generally deterministic. So in that regard, you still have to act.
Different can of worms, is it not? When you're trying to get into free will, you can get into
Calvinism.
Calvinism, yeah.
Mormonism has more room for, they call it agency as a metaphysical thing. But like, I don't think there's much room for agency in like genuine empirical thought.
Well, you definitely strayed from the point of just desires and wishing and wanting to do things, and sometimes just being forced to do it.
That's a good point, but what I think we need to do then, let's find a concrete example and elaborate our discussion from there.
Oh.
This tree, for an example. If I break this twig, it's obviously because I wanted to. In other words, I wanted to give you a demonstration. I don't see how you can explain behavior as like a purely random or non-deterministic thing. That's why it's so hard for me to avoid conflating the two conversations.
I think St. Augustine said it best whenever he discussed, determinism in the state of when you want to do something, when you're forced to do it, and that's still free will, in the sense that, I don't know where I'm going with this.
Well, I mean, it's an important point that you bring up St. Augustine. He actually had this idea that with God's grace determining everything, not even our own good decisions could be completely independent. So even in that sense, agency doesn't seem to conform to the Church Fathers. would you explain intentional decision making outside of just trying to fulfill some kind of desire?
Can you start with an example so I understand the question?
Well, okay, let's say I wanted to touch your chin.
I think this is a helpful example for the argument that you're making. However, there are uncomfortable decisions that people make that are founded on a desire that's not so much in their control to begin with, correct?
Like addiction?
Addiction would be something.
So it's interesting that you give the example of that thing, because the issue of self-defense, I would argue that you're actually reacting in part instinct for self-preservation, and that's a desire of its own, maybe not a conscious one, but then hopefully with some deliberation you're trying to prevent harm to yourself. I guess that's generally where I end up.
Yeah, that's fair. At this point, it just feels like we're more, not disagreeing, we just have different outlooks on the same thing, or just talking in circles around each other at this point.
Yeah, and like, in the end we agree with what it means. Like, there's still an explanation and a responsibility for behavior.
To an extent, yeah.
Okay, I mean, like I said, it's a pleasure talking with you, man.
Always.
We need to head out.
Yep.
By the way, what do you think about the war in Ukraine?
Oh man, do I have hot opinions about that?
I got some hot opinions too. Have you been to the beach at this time of year?
No, we really need to go though.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. What were you saying?
I about bust my ass.
So I just don't know what we could do to help resolve this conflict.
Might be nothing.
There's gotta be something we can do. This world is worth fighting for. We're out of jelly, but we got peanut butter.